First, Sven, master in law, will talk about what he wants to say to you. So here's Sven.
Thank you very much. I think that applause was for Elke and not for me. I always hate it when we go to a concert somewhere and people start applauding before the concert has begun. Why are we applauding? This man just enters the stage. Why do we applaud him? So I hope that applause was for Elke, and not so much for the words that she said, but for the work that she has done in the past few weeks. Because she tried to do something in the Netherlands that is very hard in this country. She tried to get people together. And this country is known for its division, for its egocentric greed. It has taken us over the oceans for the past 400 or 500 years, and it has brought us enormous wealth. When you visit Amsterdam and you see the beautiful buildings, please remember that they have been paid with blood money. All of them. What we see for today is, and I hope you realize that, and I'm going to try to keep it light, but where Elke is your morning cup of tea, I will be your morning cup of coffee. I will try to ignite the same fire that we have burning outside. And we boosted that fire, so we cheated a little. And that's what we are going to try today with you. Because when you are outnumbered, you have to be smart. When Odysseus saw that the city of Troy could not be sacked, but with sheer power, he started using his brain. But also something very different than his brain, because Odysseus, his name means man with pain. That is what the Greek word Odysseus means, man with pain. So it was pain that he felt. And where do you feel pain? You feel pain in your body, and then you feel pain in your mind. So body and mind are one. And that is a word, I'm going to take you through a few words that I use sometimes to set a frame for today. And I hope you will remember them throughout the day. So I'm going to use the word sentimentalist. We are sentimentalist. Why are we sentimentalist? Because this word is composed of two words. To sense, to feel. It is because we feel things. And the word mens, which means mind, spirit, and also ratio. And we live in a world today where we think that science, and we look at doctors, and we look at lawyers, and we look at physicists for our science. But science is so much more. True science is so much more. And the ancient fire that we have burning outside is rooted in a science that was much more connected to the true origins of what it means to be mankind. Because we are kind. And the Dutch word for child is kind. And the word in German is Kind. And this word is connected to being kind. To keep mankind means to keep us as children. It takes most of us to see the blood of a dying person, to realize that every man is the son to someone else's daughter. We were all children once. And we had ancestors. And we hoped that they made decisions to lay out a world for us where we could live together, freely, happily, and safely. And it is every generation's holy duty to procure a safe, happy, and free future. And every now and then in history, these three values are under threat. And that is why this is a medical, ethical, emergency deliberation. Let us realize that we are surrounded by an emergency because something is dying. And it was my good friend Dylan Thomas who wrote a beautiful poem where he spoke words that ring true to me every day. He said, "Rage against the dying of the light." And that's why we are keeping the fire going. So I hope every 15 minutes, Simon, my good friend, will check outside and see if the fire is still going. He is also one of my close friends and attorneys at law. I have some more words that I'd like to go through with you. The word, we had sentimentalist, right? We have to feel and then think. We have to use our brain after we feel. Because the body knows first. The body always knows first. And then the mind knows. So we have to trust the body. And it is very hard to trust our bodies because they can deceive us. And if we see the world and all of mankind as a body, I see a body that is confused because it does not know what it feels. And the head of this body is very confused. So our leaders are the ones in need of in desperate need of some help, because they have shown us in the past 6 months how confused they really are. So we, as doctors and lawyers, must try to help them. And that is what we are trying to do today, to produce a document, an international document, which proves guidelines for caretakers. Because doctors are caretakers. But do you know what advocate, the Dutch word advocaat, lawyer, attorney at law, advocaat, it originates in Latin from advocare, which means to call, to help. An advocate is someone who is being called to come and help. So apparently, advocate, present, you have been called to help. Are you called by us to help us? No, you are called by us to help what we see, the massive amount of patients waiting for us in the next 10 years. Because if we think that we will find a solution today, we are wrong. But we can damn well try to make a proper diagnosis today. And see what is wrong. And see what our guidelines are if we want to try to help all of our patients. Whether we see them or not. If we can produce new rules for our own conduct. Just our own. What we promise to do. Not what we want others to do. We can only use our own sentiment, our feelings and our minds to say, this is what we believe in and this is what we want to do. This is how we want to do it. And we need your help and your input. And therefore, we have a wonderful professional camera crew here, for whom I am very grateful. And we would like you, if you are willing, to share with us 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes of your ideas, your sentiments. What do you see? What do you feel? What do you think? If you are willing to share that with us into a camera, we can make a compilation. And we can make a video of doctors and lawyers internationally united. And show the world, this is what we stand for. And of course, what we will do is we will send these images that they produce to you first, for your discretion. And if you say, oh, I'm in there, but I don't want to be in there, But we will give you 24 hours because otherwise the patient will die. Sometimes it will be a short video, only 1 hour. We hope you will view it. If you say, well, I don't know, I don't want to participate, do not participate. But we invite you to share with us your feelings, and we hope we can create today a foundation of trust, because we are here with people that we do not know. And what is one of the biggest problems in the world? It's also Greek, it's xenophobia. We are afraid of the other person. This is an essential strategy for survival. I'm in my cave, someone shows up, I gotta watch out. So I want to take you through how we evolved from that essential fear that still lingers in us, deep inside of us, that essential fear of the other person. Because that fear, that essential fear, is the fundamental basis of every wrongdoing from one person to the other. Can we root out fear? That would be one of the greatest triumphs in history. And we have that option. But fear is strong. We have seen how strong fear actually is in the past 6 months. We also see how strong love is. Because they forget that we are here. They show up. They're just happy to see each other. Don't be sorry. She's taking the front seat. So this is a period of great confusion. And as you know, the patient has a fever. That is why he or she is confused. But a fever, as doctors, you know, can also bring growth and healing and more understanding fundamentally of who we are and what we are. At some point in history, we decided to abandon fear, and we started working together. And we became farmers. And I still feel like a farmer. Because we have to look at, what does the earth tell us? What does the soil tell us? You all know the sentence, let your food be your medicine, and let your medicine be your food. What we take in is essential. So we have to define somehow, what can we, as people, allow others to put inside of us? Or what can you, as doctors, put inside of other people? Because it will have an effect on them. If you believe honestly that it is a positive effect, then you are doing the right thing. Even when, in the end, it turns out to be the wrong thing. But when you fully believe, and after this belief you have checked with your colleagues, and you have checked with people that think differently than you do, you still believe something, then you can proceed. And if then it goes wrong, somebody's going to blame you. And then you're going to need the lawyers. You're going to need the lawyers. And we are going to have to be able to explain to the world why you believed what you believed and why you proceeded as you did. But there is a fine line between being careful and being fearful. And I apologize on behalf of my profession, lawyers, because we are the ones that are supposed to take into account all of the risks. And believe me, if we were to rule the world, everybody would be sitting still and don't move because life is dangerous and something might go wrong. And somebody else might blame you for this. So as your attorney, I advise you all, stay home. But as your friend, I advise you, go outside and live. We have to find the balance between risks that life entail Because if I look at this crisis, I see, if I just look at the surface, and I don't look at the greed, and I don't look at hidden agendas that I contemplate. I should contemplate them. Every doctor, lawyer, journalist should contemplate what's really behind this. Usually you just follow the money. Usually. Sometimes you follow religion. Sometimes you follow a belief structure. It only becomes dangerous when it's hidden. As John F. Kennedy said, we are inherently opposed to secret societies and hidden agendas, if they exist. But that's the funny thing. Something that's hidden, you can't find it. You can smell it. As doctors, you know this. Sometimes you touch a patient and you know there's something wrong. You can't find it yet, but you know it. And that's that sentiment again. Then that's that sentimentalist inside of a doctor. Patient comes in, you already know. You can smell it. It's because we're animals. We are animals with a great gift. Be it from God or from nature. We have the gift of thought. And I'm going to end today because I invite you today to think with us, all think together. Put our brains, our power together. Put our feeling ability together to find the ethical rules that we are going to need in the next 10 years to weather the storm. Because it's just begun, and you know this. You feel this. You see this. That's why you are here. You care. You might even worry. So let me take you to a magic place. The 100-acre wood where Pooh lives. Silly old bear. And when Pooh is in trouble, he goes to his thinking stone. And he sits on his thinking stone. Think, 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 think. But as much as Pooh tries to think, no thought would ever come to mind. So today, let us try to use our senses to instruct our minds so that we can produce something that can touch everybody as a truth. And one of those things is this. We will not claim the truth. We will only claim the right to talk with other people about what we believe is the truth and what we believe is the right thing to do. And humility is only shown by asking other people the right questions. And you know what I find very worrying, and that is why I'm happy that there are cameras here and we have some newspaper makers here. That asking the right questions, when people in power who are confused do not come up with answers or refuse to sit down with us to have a dialogue, we must show the world that it is they who lack the will to discuss the truth, that it is they who impose their truth on others. And they use soft words and sweet words, and they use propaganda. Let me tell you that none of you, including myself, we have no idea what war looks like. Because in the First World War, in Great Britain was founded the Ministry of Propaganda. They showed us what we needed to believe. If we think about the First World War, the Second World War, we only see what they wanted us to see. They have created that reality. We have no idea what it was really like because it wasn't told. And we have to be very careful that this story is told in a way that our children will remember this time, not for what it was, but for what some people want us to believe that it was. Let us try to find the truth. Let us try to find our truth, the rules that we will set for ourselves, that others in the world might adopt when they feel that it rings true to them. And we will find adversity. We will find their pain, because they do not want to admit that they have been wrong. They would rather live the lie. But we will have to invite them. We would really have to invite them to come and talk to us. I see you all as people who have traveled the world, traveled the country, spend your time, spend your money to be here today. And I hope we can create a document that will help those in need. First and foremost, our colleagues, doctors and lawyers, but mostly the people that have been lied to and have been made fearful creatures again, to throw them back into that primitive being in the cave that has to be afraid of the other person and stay at a safe distance. It is terrible, because all of brotherhood is being smashed if we cannot be together. And I saw one hug there. So we're good. It's still alive. And we can keep it alive. And thank you very much for being here. And I hope we will succeed today and in the next 10 years. Because the world is going to need someone who says, I have a question. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sven.